It says live on Facebook right now. On my end, it's not showing live, but hopefully you guys can see us out there. Let us know if you can see us. Just give us a like or a hello or introduce yourself out there. I think we are actually live. I do finally see us out there, but hopefully you guys see us. Before we get into our topic today, let's just hear from you. Give a quick like or hello out there. Let us know if you can see us. We've had a few technology ups and downs here. I think everybody in the world is on streaming video these days. Looks like Yumi's out there. Hey, Yumi, and Kim's out there. Awesome. Good to see you guys. Well, I'm excited. People are able to join us live today. I'm Suzanne Monroe, founder of the International Association of Wellness Professionals, and welcome to Be Well 12 Live, where we're doing live coaching chats with IAWP wellness coaches and holistic experts around the globe who are really here to bring you powerful tips to help you to stay grounded, to stay well, stay balanced right now, because with all the changes and transitions and things that are going on, it's easy to fall out of balance, right? And sometimes we lose sight of the most powerful wellness practices that can help us, or maybe we're just starting our wellness journey and we don't exactly know what to do. But when stress piles on, that can really kind of throw us out of whack. So our goal today is to give you a simple, powerful practice that you can do in 12 minutes a day or less. And if you want to continue your journey to wellness in 12 minutes a day, all you have to do is click the link below this video, and you can learn about the 12 elements that are interconnected with your health and well-being and start your own self-guided journey. And today I'm excited to have a guest with me today, Hayley Vincent, who is an IAWP wellness coach. Hey, Hayley out there, welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for letting me be on this.
Well, I'm really glad you're here today. It's fun to have you. And I know you're going to be sharing with us a powerful practice that you've used in your personal time and you've been sharing with your clients, and about self-talk. We'll get into that in a minute. Before we talk about what that actually is and what people can do, I'd love for our listeners just to have a chance to hear a little bit more about you. How did you become passionate about wellness and holistic health in your own life, and how did you decide to become a wellness coach?
Yeah, so I will try and keep this as short as possible.
Okay.
But I guess when I was growing up, I was a sporty, health conscious, high achiever, always smiling, laughing, and that was kind of my image. And I had a pretty set career path. I was going to go into sport. That's what I loved. So I completed university with a master's degree in sports biomechanics. It was meant to be a year of celebration, and it ended up being a year where I hit rock bottom because I was dealing with a lot of self-destruction. And from when I was around 13, 14 till I was about 22, 23, I put so much pressure on myself to do well and to look a certain way. And I developed a lot of self-hate, and I battled with bulimia for years, and I felt completely disconnected with who I was. And I ended up believing everything negative I said to myself. I was stuck in this vicious cycle. So I did reach out to try and get help. And a lot of the sources out there was focused on just nutrition and movement. And of course, I studied this. So why wasn't I practicing that? So I kind of went on my own healing journey. And it kind of sounds cliche, but I went traveling and I developed a lot of new habits and discovered yoga, and I started to reconnect with myself. So even though now I'm only 26, I'm so lucky to be in this position, because I still kind of feel sad that from when I was 14 to 23, I was hating myself so much. So I kind of want to help young women who are experiencing this and discovering the IAWP and the Wellness 360 wheel. This really aligns with what helped me. Instead of just focusing on nutrition and movement, it was all the elements together. So that's why I decided to become a wellness coach.
Okay, I don't know if I ever heard your full story. I know we've talked before, but as you can see, I'm tearing up over here because it's just an amazing story, and for you to be like, wow, you're only in your 20s, but those years happened, and you have that. You say, oh, you wish it was different, but on the same note, you're at this point, you still have so much ahead of you, and to hear that you're going to help other young women, it's just amazing. It's so powerful.
And it's a thing that I never had that external person saying these things to me. These things came from within. So that's why I'm so passionate about self-talk.
Well, let's get into self-talk then. It
Yeah.
sounds like it was an important part of your wellness journey. Talk to us a little bit more about your journey with it and how people can use it to actually help themselves stay well and balanced.
Yeah, so we all have that self-talk, that inner voice and that inner conversation going on 24/7. And self-talk is a form of neuro-linguistic programming, otherwise known as NLP. But this acknowledges the connection between the brain, language, and our behaviors. So the mind-body connection is an important element in the way self-talk affects us. This little voice in our heads directly affects how we feel and how we behave on a day-to-day basis. So most of us could stand to be more kinder and compassionate. And like so many of us probably hear ourselves saying in the morning, looking in the mirror, oh, I don't like myself, or I'm not good enough to teach the kids, for instance, in this situation. And by constantly telling yourself this negative self-talk, you can end up becoming stuck in a negative cycle of self-hate. So right now, especially in this weird situation we're in, negative self-talk may become worse with the added stress, more challenges we're facing, and maybe you have less distractions now, so you have more headspace. So you're refocusing on that internal conversation. So that can have huge effects on our mind and our body. But then it's one thing to say, be kinder to yourself, but then another thing to know actually what it looks like.
Yeah.
So basically, we need to kind of reprogram our mind, and it's a training process, which I never got taught. I just got taught to train my body. I didn't know how to train my mind. So I'm just going to go through a 3-step process, which helped me. And it's using the word, if I can say it, is abracadabra. And it's nothing to do with a magician. And this word actually comes from the Aramaic phrase that means I create as I speak. And in the Hebrew language, this translates into it comes to pass as it was spoke. So this means to me that words indeed really have a great power. And as a memory aid for this 3-step process, I use the 4 letters ABRA, the first 4 letters.
Okay.
So we'll start with step 1, and the A starts with acknowledgement. So you're acknowledging your self-talk, and you want to hone in on one negative self-talk pattern, because trying to change your whole inner dialogue at once, it can be quite overwhelming and unrealistic. So try and acknowledge one pattern that you regularly use. For example, are you using negative phrases beginning with I am and I hate in a negative way? So you're identifying that one common pattern, and you can even write it down to create that distance from that thought. So that's step 1. And then step 2 is using the letters B and R. So that's breathe and relax. So you're becoming more mindful of the self-talk pattern now. You're creating more awareness, and you want to catch that thought in action, because we know how fast our brain can keep going, and you need to catch it before it takes control and kind of ruins your whole day. So when that thought comes to the forefront, you can stop and breathe and try and keep calm and relaxed. And you want to breathe in what you want to feel, and you want to exhale all what you don't. So you want to let go of them limitations. You want to let go of the hurt. Again, though, this was easier said than done for me. So I kind of added a physical movement into this to distract my mind. So when, for example, I looked in the mirror and I said, I hate myself, I would give myself a little pinch or a poke. And it isn't about punishing yourself. It's about establishing a concrete awareness. And soon it will become very clear how powerful and persistent these patterns really are. So the second step is about bringing that pattern to the forefront of our consciousness. And then the last step, which is the most important step, is A again, and it means alignment. So this is the real action step to allow transformation now. It's about rephrasing the narrative that is more aligned to what you really want. So you want to find new words that communicate a meaning that is more positive and empowering. And this doesn't mean that it needs to be super positive, because that's, for me, wasn't realistic. If I said to myself, I hate myself, I'm not going to turn around and say, I love my body, because I didn't believe it. And it can be a neutral thought that just provides some self-respect, some self-compassion. It needs to be believable and authentic to you. So, for example, if you say, I'm using a lot of self-image negative thought here because it relates to me, but if you say, I hate my legs, you can rephrase this and say, my legs enable me to walk. I'm going to be gentle with myself in this moment. And it's a very neutral thought. And after identifying your patterns of negative self-talk, these phrases will become more ingrained in you, and you can actually prepare a few go-to phrases, because I used to struggle. I kept repeating the same thing. I am enough. I am enough. And you can actually prepare these phrases to help you. So yeah, the magic trick for this final step is to go beyond just saying it too. And this is something that's very relatable to coaching, to envision it so you actually experience it and you begin to step into this new belief. And it's all a training process. And yeah, that's the 3-step process I use, is using abracadabra, but the first 4 letters to eliminate that negative self-thought.
I love it, because it helps you to remember something, and it also has kind of that meaning and significance behind it. And you said so many really brilliant things that I just want to pull out for a minute. I mean, this part about, the final step about alignment, I thought was so important, because you said, hey, if I just tell myself something really positive, like I might not believe it. And so what you said was, it has to be believable. And I think that's really huge, because as we start to wake up to our own wellness journey, right? Like you said, sometimes you have to pay attention to food and then exercise, right? Like self-talk is a part of the journey. And as we become more awake, we start to become awake to that inner voice. But yet oftentimes the challenge that people have is they hear that negative self-talk and they think, oh, I got to go way over here to the positive and say something way on the other end. But you're right, then it's not believable.
Yeah, and you're just trying to, I don't know the scientific behind it, but we have so many thoughts in a day. And for some reason, the negative voice always seems to be that little bit louder, and that inner critic. And I used to call my inner bully a little name just to try and diminish it. And it doesn't have to switch over drastically to that super positive side, because realistically, not everyone's super positive all the time. You just need to provide that self-respect for yourself and learn the self-compassion and the self-kindness.
I love that you named your inner bully. And the truth is, we all have inner bullies, and different really parts of ourselves is really one way of referring to it, right? But you brought awareness to it for yourself, and you kind of shine that light on it. And that's huge, because that's really the first step for people. But it's true, as you say, what is the thinking behind this? I mean, oftentimes if people are just getting started, they can say to themselves, is this really true about myself? Because like you said, okay, I'm always, I hate my legs, or maybe you beat yourself up and you say, I always make stupid mistakes. If you go way over here to, oh, I'm perfect, I never make mistakes, or I'm awesome. It's hard to make that leap. And so neutral, that was the word you used, something neutral, like, I sometimes get it right and I sometimes get it wrong, but I'm not going to blame myself when I get it wrong.
Yeah.
A truth as well.
And it's so important not to be defined by this negative self-talk. So that's why I mentioned in the first step, by maybe writing it down, or again, naming that bully, you're kind of disconnecting yourself from it. And was vital for me, because I kind of lost myself in this self-talk, that I had to go on my own discovery journey to reconnect with myself. I didn't know who Hayley was anymore, because this inner bully had defined me. So
That's huge. That's huge. And I know we're live out there, and I just want to say, I know a lot of people are joining us. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can go ahead, type it in the chat. We'll try to connect back there before we end to see if there's anything. But I did add to the chat your 4-step or the abracadabra, acknowledge self-talk pattern, breathe and relax, and alignment, and then moving into envisioning it after. So that's there for everybody to see. And I love that you have this short little process. And is this something you just, as you did it, did you overcome it, or is it something that you continue to use in your daily life so that you continue growing with it, or is it something someone does for a time period and now they're quote unquote better?
No, I continue to use it, and I guess in this situation right now, it's more powerful than ever because certain people's coping mechanisms may have disappeared. Like if you like to go to the gym and do these different activities, that's been stripped away from us in a way. So it's so powerful to retrain your mind every day. And I still have them comments coming in all the time, but I've learned to disconnect myself from that. So it is a training process, definitely. And it's not a quick fix, but like you train your body, we need to train our mind, which is said a lot now. So
well, I love that you said that, because just like going to the gym or whatever you do for fitness, you don't do that and you're fit and then you stop doing it. It's kind of the same thing with what you're describing here, because it is a journey. And I'll say for myself, yesterday, I even found myself doing some negative self-talk, and it was about what you were saying before with the kids at home, trying to help with online schooling. I was like all of a sudden a teacher, and my son was not wanting to do his schoolwork, and he was getting frustrated, and I was then getting frustrated. We were kind of triggering each other, and I went into my own story. Well, I'm just not good at being a teacher. I'm not good at doing parenting. And so it's not that your self-talk goes away. What happens is on the journey, as you've described, you become aware of it. So I was kind of stuck there for a little while, and then I caught myself. And I wish I would have had the 4-step process in front of me. I did probably something similar to get myself out of it. I didn't stay there forever. But this 4-step process is so useful. Everybody can use this right now, and really whenever, right in the moment. And like you said, this is an opportunity right now, because our self-talk is heightened in a way. It's more of it's happening, and yet we're kind of isolated inside our homes or wherever we are, so that at the same note, we may have the time to at least consider it.
Yeah. And it's definitely a time where we might be saying this negative self-talk. Like there's a lot of us are on social media right now. So you might be doing a lot of comparing to other people's lives, for example. You might be thinking, oh, I'm not being productive as these other people. And you just need to grab that negative self-talk as best as you can before it starts taking control, because it can ruin your whole day if it just escalates and takes over your mind. So this 4-step process is amazing for me.
I'm so glad you've shared this process, and just the importance of people having the awareness that it's there for them and that they can start. And if they don't, like you said, your day can get completely kind of derailed. So it's nice to have this tool. It's something you can do in 12 minutes a day or less, and you can check in with yourself throughout the day. Laura's out there saying this is great. She loves to have an actual process to address self-talk. Thank you. Getting lots of likes and comments out there on this video interview. So I'm so glad that you were here to share all this with us, Hayley.
Thank you.
Where can people learn more if they want to follow up with you? Is there a place either on Facebook or anything else, website, or anything you want to share where people can connect?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I can give you the details. It's normally just Hayley.wellness or Hayley Wellness. And I'm in the process of doing my Wellness 360 website. So
awesome. Well, yeah, Wellness 360 Coach website will be up soon. In the meantime, Hayley is at Hayley Wellness on both Facebook and Instagram. That's awesome. And, we covered just one wellness tip that is part of your whole complete interconnected wellness journey today that you can do in just 12 minutes a day or less. If you want to continue this journey to wellness in just 12 minutes a day, all you have to do is click the link below this video to learn more about Be Well 12. And we'll be back here with our next Be Well 12 live segment soon. Hayley, thank you again so much for being here. This was awesome.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to everybody out there soon. Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.